Gracious God, may the words of my mouth, may the meditations of our hearts, our minds, even our spirits, may these be acceptable, O God, in your sight, our rock and our Redeemer. Amen. Well, I need a little help with the sermon this morning, so I'm glad that everybody is here. I need to do a little research for the sermon. Research on the very nature of greatness. And therefore, I have a survey to take with you. Your job is to decide which is better, which is greater, between two different things that I lift up to your attention. So in the name of spiritual research, let's get started, and we'll start off with an easy one. We're going to decide between dogs and cats. Which is better and which is greater. All those that think cats are better than dogs, raise your hand. Or two, or just stand right up. How many people think dogs are better than cats? Okay. The next question, both. The next question, we turn to the world of sport. Sports fans are always arguing and debating about GOAT, the greatest of all time. G-O-A-T. Except for last night. So you have to decide we're going to focus our attention on basketball. Who is the GOAT? Who is the greatest of all time? Your choices are going to be LeBron James, Michael Jordan, or somebody else. Are you ready? How many think LeBron James is the greatest of all time? That's the cat crowd. Who thinks Michael Jordan is the greatest of all time? Who thinks it's somebody else entirely?
Very great.
Okay. And now, getting more to the spiritual side of things, when it comes to great people of faith, not counting Jesus, who do you think was the greatest person of faith? Again, not counting Jesus. Your choices are going to be so that you can prepare yourself. Abraham, Moses, Mary, the mother of Jesus, or John the Baptist. Now, there may be other candidates, but we're going to stick with those. How many think Abraham was the greatest person of faith besides Jesus? How about Moses? Mary. All right, Mary. Good. John the Baptist. Terrific. There you go. The research is now concluded. So thank you for your participation. And for your participation, brunch is on us. Now we play this game all the time in our lives. All the time we debate who is the greatest, who is the best. We ask, who is the greatest president ever? Who is the greatest football player, the greatest actor or actress? We do it at work. Who is the best employee among us? We do it in our family and among our neighbors, asking who is the best child? Who is the best mother, father, husband, wife? The disciples played this game too. Listen to our second scripture reading for this morning. This one comes from the Gospel of Matthew. Jesus asked his disciples, "What were you arguing about on the way?" And they were silent. For on the way, they had been arguing about which of them was the greatest disciple. Frustrated, Jesus said, "Whoever wants to be the greatest must be the last of all, the servant of all." And then Jesus took a child, and he placed the child among them, and said, "Truly, unless you change and become like this child, you will never enter into the kingdom of heaven. Whoever becomes humble like this child, they are the greatest in the kingdom of heaven." And if any of you put a stumbling block before one of these little ones, it would be better for you. If a great millstone was fastened around your neck and you were drowned in the depths of the sea. Jesus made it clear to his disciples, to us, that trying to be, claiming to be, arguing who is or who isn't the greatest among us disqualifies us from being the greatest of all time. Rather, it makes of us merely goats and not the greatest of all time. For it is the humble, Jesus says, who are truly great. Mark Twain says, comparison is the death of joy. And he is absolutely right. For whenever we compare ourselves to others, whenever we get into a competition as to who is better than who, well, then we all lose. And because we all lose, we all end up miserable. Look back to our little quiz. Some of you thought Michael Jordan was the greatest of all time. Some of you thought LeBron James was. Somebody else. Comparison makes even LeBron James, even Michael Jordan, a loser. A loser. For even as great as each of those people was or is, in a competition to be greatest, even they are not good enough. Even they end up as losers in some people's eyes. That's what comparison does. It makes losers of us all, even the greatest. The same applies to Abraham and Moses. Fantastic people of faith. But in the eyes of some, still, even them, not good enough when compared to others. So in a world and in a way of thinking where LeBron James, Moses, Mary, the mother of Jesus, comes out as a loser, what chance do I have? What chance do you have? It will surely be the death of joy for both of us. For no matter who we are or how great we are always less than someone by some measure. Even Michael Jordan, even LeBron James, even Moses, even Abraham. Jesus shows us the way out of this no-win situation and into a whole new world where joy is possible. That way, the way of true greatness, Jesus says, is not to compare ourselves, what we have, who we are, to everyone else, but it is to be humble like a child and to be servant of all. Now, maybe that doesn't sound as glamorous as perhaps we'd like it to be. But that is the path of faith. That is the path, the way that leads to the foot of God. Humility and service. So here's our challenge this morning. If we are to create a world of joy, a world of healing, a world more holy, more honoring of who and what God has created, then we must exchange our way and our habits of comparing ourselves to others, who we are, what we have, and instead simply give thanks for who we are and what we have. Gratitude frees the soul and immerses us in joy. Gratitude frees our soul. It immerses us in joy. Likewise, instead of an endless, winless competition to have more than others, we must simply make sure that others have what they need. This is what creates a world of joy that Jesus describes and calls us into. This is the measure of greatness in Jesus' eyes. This is how he said, we do justice, and we love kindness, and we walk humbly. May we do so today. Amen.